Good afternoon to all IEM and UEM family members again. And I'm sure that I'm audible and visible. And today alongside me is Dr. Vishal Kumar Pandey from the ECE department of UEM Jaipur. And he has taken up a topic, basics of MATLAB. Now, though he has written basics, not quite basics, I could understand from his slides that he has gone quite deep into the topic and he's going to get quite deep into the topic. So remain prepared for that. If you follow from the very beginning, you will definitely enjoy. Otherwise, in the middle of it, it might just go out of reach if anybody of you is not acquainted with MATLAB. So MATLAB is one of my favorite, I should say, coding language because I treated it mostly like a coding language, though it is different from a coding language in the sense that it is mainly used for mathematical purposes. But it is one of my most favorite languages, I should say. And things are very easy once you are doing mathematics. Things are very easy with MATLAB. So go ahead, Dr. Vishal. You may kindly take it over from here.
Thank you, sir. So, good afternoon to all family members. My name is Vishal Kumar Pandey, and I am from EC Department, UEM Jaipur. My topic of presentation is Basics of MATLAB. So, here is the outline. These are the several topics which I will discuss throughout the PPT. First, I will introduce about the MATLAB. Then, I will introduce uh, some topics regarding MATLAB, starting of MATLAB, how do we start and how the things are looking when you open the MATLAB. And after that, I will present some mathematical functions which are generally used in our day-to-day life while calculating any mathematical expressions. Then MATLAB is all about matrix manipulations or matrix calculations. So I will discuss about matrix generation. How do we generate matrix in MATLAB? Then how do we read any data or write any data in MATLAB? After that, the plotting methods. How do we plot in MATLAB? And then some simple programs I will discuss with you. So first of all, introduction. As you can see, the MATLAB is a short form of matrix laboratory. It is made up of two words, matrix and laboratory. And just wait for a moment. Okay. So the two words are matrix and laboratory. In matrix, the first three letters are taken, and from laboratory, the first three letters are taken. And from that, MATLAB is prepared. So it basically started from 1970s, when initially developed by a lecturer to help students learn linear algebra. So it was developed for only linear algebra subject. But after that, MathWorks, founded in 1984, and it is also known as mathworks.com. They have developed in several criteria and several topics, and they have added several toolboxes after that. So MATLAB finally prepared on 1984. So it is a software package which can be used to perform analysis and solve mathematical and engineering problems. So basically, this MATLAB is used for solving mathematical and engineering problems using coding language. And it is a high level language, so any normal coding programmer can easily solve it or program it. It has excellent programming features and graphics capability, easy to learn and flexible. Available in many operating systems like Windows, Macintosh, Unix, DOS. It has several toolboxes to solve specific problems. So because of these features, this MATLAB is very popular among industry. There is another software which is free to all, that is Scilab, but it is not very much popular because there are certain properties which is not available in that Scilab, and also the Scilab is free to all, and there is no backend support for that. So that is why it is not very much popular. Scilab is not very much popular, but MATLAB is costly. Any single individual will not be easily afforded, because each toolbox has lakhs of rupees. So individual cannot afford this MATLAB. Any organization can afford it. Okay, so obviously this MATLAB is very popular among industry. What are the advantages? First one is easy to use. Second one, powerful built-in routines and toolboxes. There are a lot of toolboxes you will find in the MATLAB uh, software, and those toolboxes belong to different engineering fields. Like I am from electronics engineer in electronics engineering field, so I will have uh, very much options, like designing any filter, like cleaning any image. So like that, different engineering fields have different toolboxes available. The other advantage is good visualization of results. You can easily get visualized a good result with the help of MATLAB. Popularity in both academic and industry. Now, disadvantages of MATLAB. There are some of the disadvantages. If your system is slow, or your system is having very low RAM, or very low hard disk, then obviously you will have the disadvantage, because this MATLAB generally has size of 20 GB approximately. So it will be very high. Okay, so normal computer which is having very high memory usage will only respond to that MATLAB. But if your memory capacity is very low, then you will not be able to perform any operation using MATLAB. And it is licensed, it is not free, so obviously this is also a disadvantage. Next, getting started. So we can start MATLAB using two ways. First, brings up the full GUI you have. If you have installed it correctly, then you will find the MATLAB icon in your desktop. By clicking, double clicking it, you will open the MATLAB. So this is the first method. This method, using this method, you can access all the features of MATLAB. There is second method also. Using command prompt, you just need to type this command, MATLAB hyphen no desktop hyphen no splash. So it will open a MATLAB window, but it will only create graphs. Okay, only plot graphs, but you cannot visualize through the different toolboxes. So all the features you will not be able to access through this mode. Now when you open it, then this picture will arise. As you can see, there are different windows available. If we talk about this current folder, then current folder specifies in which folder you are working and what are the different files available in that folder. The next is details. If you click on a certain file, then it will display the details of that particular file. Like if we click any file here, all the files are .m files, then it will display what type of file that is and what is the name of that file. If it is a picture file, then it will display the picture along with the size of that picture. Then the next is right side. If you see, workspace is available. So whatever the variables you have used in your programming, all the variables get stored in this workspace. And along with that, you will be able to find the values which is assigned to that variable, and also their minimum and maximum value along with the data type of that variable. So as you can see, there are different variables available here, and along with that, the size of those variables are also indicated with the data type. So those informations you can access through this workspace. Now, what are the different commands you have used in your programming that will be displayed in this command history portion? So using this command history, you can access all the different type of commands you have used in your earlier previous programming. So from the start, whatever the commands you have used, all will be displayed in this command history. So along with those commands, you will be able to access the information of date and time, on which date and at which time you have used a particular command. And this is the most important window, that is command window. Here you get the access of all the programming. So whatever the commands you are writing, or whatever command you want to display or take output from any particular input, you have to type it here in command window. So all those input and output programming can be done with the help of this command window. And the main problem with this command window is you cannot store these programs for future purpose. Okay, so for that you have a different window, which is editor window, and which can be opened through this icon, if you can see here. So those this editor window has the speciality that you can save all the programming for future purpose or for future use. So these are the uses of different command, different windows of the MATLAB. And if you see here at the top of the window, you can find the version of MATLAB. Here it is written as MATLAB 7.11 R2010B. So it is MATLAB 7 version, which was released on 2010 here. Now this MATLAB can be used as a calculator also. So as we use calculator for calculation purpose, you can also use MATLAB for that purpose also. So here, if I write pi, then it will display the result of pi. So we know that the value of pi is 3.1416. So because it is short format, so it is only displaying the 5 digits. We can also increase the limit of that display values. It will be discussed in later slides. So more examples, if you want to calculate the value of sine pi by 4, then you can write it like this: sine pi by 4. You will get the output of this sine pi by 4 value. After that, you can also get the value of 2 to the power log 4. Here log 4 is specifying natural log, which is log base e, and sqrt function generally calculates square root of the value. So it will calculate square root of 9. Now in this previous slide, you can see we have not assigned any variable for these values, but we can also assign the variable. So assign values to output variables. So if we write x equals to 5, then 5 value, that is integer, will be assigned to this x. Here one can notice that we do not have to initialize this variable or define the data type of these variables. So this is very great feature in MATLAB. Now next, y equals to colon Bob. So inside the column, if you write this Bob, then it will be saved in y variable, and the data type of this Bob variable will be string type or character type, because you are specifying character or storing character in this y variable. So all these informations you can find in the workspace. Now these are the features or advantages of MATLAB. You do not have to declare the data type of the variable. You do not have to initialize that variable. Just assign in command window like this: a equals to 12 semicolon percentage sign, variable a is assigned 12. So the meaning of this sentence is, this double arrow is representing MATLAB prompt, means at this prompt you are allowed to write any command. Now this is the variable a, Equal sign is representing a sign operator. 12 is value. Semicolon means you are suppressing the output. Means if you do not want to see the output of this command, then you just need to add this semicolon. So this will suppress the output. It will not show in the command window. Now percent sign is used to comment any sentence. Suppose you are writing any instruction and you want to give the information to other user that what that particular line is representing. So you can do that by placing percentage sign. After that, write this complete sentence. So here we have written that variable a is assigned to 12. So it will not be compiled by the compiler. Now, view variable contains by simply typing the variable name at the command prompt. Suppose you have written a 100 line of commands, in the editor window, and you want to get the access of a particular variable. That what are the variables stored in, what are the contents stored in the particular variable. So in the command window, just you need to type that particular variable and enter it. When you enter, you will get the value of those variables. So if a is already defined and we want to know the information about that a variable, then just we have to type a and enter it. We will get the information of a variable stored value. Now if you want to multiply with some value, then you can simply use the star operator, which is available in your keyboard easily. So just multiply is represented with star operator, and a into 2 will give you the value, that is 24. Now suppressing output, as we already discussed it, you can suppress the numerical output by putting a semicolon at the end of the line. So suppose you are typing t equals to pi by 3, and again you are typing t equals to pi by 3 semicolon. Then this will display the same value t equals to pi by 3 at the command window output, but this will not display the any value in the command window. It is also case sensitive. So if you are using different variables and you are just changing one character in that particular variable name, then you will be able to assign two different values to those different variables. So like in this example, you can see time is used 2 times, but we have just changed the t variable. Okay, so in this two different variables are there. So time equals to 61 and time equals to 61 we can assign differently. So these two variables have the same value, but it will be shown differently in the workspace. Now managing the workspace. The results of one problem may have an effect on the next one. Suppose you are running several programs and you are not clearing the workspace, means you are not removing the variables which are already used in previous program. So then you have to know in the current program what are the variables are already used, because if you are using the same variable, then it might be possible that those variables can be replaced by the earlier values. Okay, so this is the problem with the particular workspace, because if you have to, you are going to use the same variable again and again, then you have to clear the workspace. So to find those variables which are already used, you can use the function whos. This will list all the variables which are already used in the particular program. So it will list the current variables and give information on size, shape, data type, etc. So whatever be the information available regarding that variable, that will be displayed on the particular command window. Issue a clear command at the start of each new independent calculation to remove variables and functions from memory and the workspace. So generally what we do when we write any program, then in general, by default, we use three particular commands at the start of the each program. First one is clear, clear all, close all, and CLC. I will discuss each of them in upcoming slides. So first, I will discuss here about the workspace cleaning. So here we use clear command to clear the workspace. Like if you want to clear a specific variable, then you just need to use clear space t. So it will clear the specific t variable from the workspace. If you want to clear all the variables which are used in the current program, then you have to use this clear command only. So it will clear all the variables which are used in the current program. But if you want to clear all the variables which are used in current program along with previous programs which we have used in uh, earlier programs also, so you have to use clear all. It will clear all the variables, globals, or functions which are present in the workspace. So by default we use clear all. So miscellaneous commands to clear the command window. Suppose you want to clear the command window. So command window clearing, we use CLC command. It clears the command window. For clearing the current figure, suppose you have the output of any uh, function and you want to clear the current figure window, just you need to type CLF in the command window and it will clear the current figure window. Now, sometimes it happens that due to uh, memory shortage, the program continues and it will hang your computer. So to avoid the particular manipulation or computation, you have to just type Control C. Suppose the loop, if you have provided any loop in the particular program and that is following an infinite loop, then you have to provide this command Control plus C in the command window. That will abort the operation. And if you have uh, any long function which you are writing in the command window and it is very long in a single line, then you can use this triple dot and you can again uh, use the next operations in the second line. So it will what it will do, it will uh, indicate the compiler that this particular line is in continuation with the next line. To recall previous commands, you can use up arrow in the command window, or in the command history pane, you can double click any command and you can place it into the command window. To get help, we generally use help command. If suppose you need the information of a particular command, then you can just type help and the command name. So suppose we want to get information about the square root function. So just you need to type help space square root. It will display the information related to this square root function. If you want to get the information in documented form, then just you need to type doc in place of help, and you will get the information in documented form. Now, sometimes it happens that we do not know the exact function. We just know the part of that function. Okay. So for that, you can use look for function. It will search all the functions which is having the same set of characters available in the particular function. So suppose we want to search all the functions which is having the name plot. So just you need to type look for space plot. So all those functions which are present in the MATLAB, which is having the plot command attached to it, which will be displayed in the command window. Now there are different ways to use this help. First one is help space command name, which I already discussed it. The next is help win space command name. It will also result the same. The next way is doc space command name, which will give you the documented form of information. Next is help desk space command name. This will also give you the information in documented form. Demo space command name will give you the demo of that particular command. And look for is already I have discussed. It generally search the keyword among the functions present in the MATLAB. For more information and support, you can get the information through this website, http mathsworks.com support. For example, if you type help sign function, you will get these type of informations: sign of argument in radians, sign of x is the sign of elements of x. See also a sign d, overloaded functions. So all these informations will be displayed on your command window when you type this help space sign. Some useful commands which we can generally use when we are programming very long commands and very long programming we are doing, then these are very useful commands which we can use easily. What first one is what? It will list all the M files in the current directory. So all the M files which are present in the current directory will be displayed by the help of this what command. dir/ls means you can use either dir or ls. This particular command will list all the files in the current directory. So here there is only one difference in these two commands. This what command will display all the M files, whereas this dir and ls will display all the files, all type of files which are present in the current directory. Now next command is type test. It will display test.m in command window. So whatever the programming you have done in this test.m file, it will be displayed in the command window with the help of this command type space test. Test.m is the name of that particular file. If you want to delete a particular file, just you need to type delete space the name of that particular file. If you want to change the directory, then you can either use cd command or chdir command. It will change the current directory. Now pwd command is used to show the current directory. Okay. Then next command is which test. So it will display the directory path to closest test.m command, test.m file. So if you want to get the information of the current directory of that particular test.m file, then you just need to type which space the name of that particular m file. Who will display the list of all the known variables, whereas whose will list the information regarding their size, their values, all the informations which are available in the workspace. Clear will clear the workspace, and CLC I already discussed it. Now there are defined variables which is already available, and the values you do not need to specify every time. Like answer is default variable. If you are not assigning any variable, then by default this variable will be assigned to the value. Okay. Now pi is already defined in the MATLAB. So wherever you need to use this pi symbol, just you need to write pi. It will display the result of this pi. EPS command will give you the smallest incremental number. So it is just an step size, the smallest step size, which can be used in MATLAB. INF command is used to represent infinity. NaN is representing not a number, like 0 by 0 is not a number. So if your programming has 0 by 0 stored in a variable, then you can easily find with the help of this NAM. It will be displayed in your workspace. Now, you do not need to define imaginary unit. Like we know that I is the square root of -1. So you do not need to specify every time the value of I. There are two variables I and j which are already defined in the MATLAB, and if you use it as it is, then it will be treated as complex number. So if you are using I in the in form of other variable, then you can use j as complex variable. Now the next special variable is real min and real max. Real min will display the smallest real value which can be computed with the help of MATLAB, and real max will display the largest value which can be computed with the help of MATLAB. Now there are several relational operators MATLAB supports. First one is less than, second one is less than or equals to. You need to add less and equal to sign altogether. Then greater than or equal to, then equal to, and not equal to. Here, among these type of relational operators, this particular equal to sign is important, because when we generally in mathematics we use single uh, equal to operator to assign values. For comparison purpose, we have to use these two equal to signs. Okay, so if you want to compare two values, then you have to use these two equal to signs. And if you are assigning any values, then you have to use only single equal to sign. For not equal to, you have to add this negation sign. Now, there are some logical operators MATLAB supports: not, and, or. So negation sign is here. The precedence of this negation sign is highest among other operators. And operators are represented by this, and or operator is represented by this vertical sign. And these two have equal precedence. Now, MATLAB also supports some logical functions like and, or, not, and XOR. So these logical operators are available with the MATLAB. All the logical operators are not available in MATLAB. So you will not be able to find all the logical functions, but these functions like and, or, not, and XOR are available in the MATLAB, and you can use it easily. Where A and B are logic expressions, like if you are using XOR function, then A and B are logic expressions. Logic expressions means 1 or 0 form. The XOR operator evaluates or true if and only if one expression is true and the other is false. So this is the property of XOR function. True is returned as 1 and false as 0. Now there are other logical functions which can be easily used in MATLAB. NEX means it returns 1 if any element of X is non-zero. So suppose X is a vector and there is only single component which is non-zero, then it will display 1. Otherwise, if all the elements are 0, then it will display 0. Now all X means returns 1 if all the elements are non-zero. So if all the elements are non-zero, then this command will display 1 at the command line. Is nan of X returns 1 at each nan in X. So if your variable X has not a number stored in the variable X, then this command is nan X will return 1. If the variable X is storing infinite value, then this command will give you the 1 value, is inf X. If all the values stored in X are finite, then this finite of X will return 1. MATLAB also supports 8 formats for outputting numerical results. So suppose we want to get the information in different formats. So as we have already seen that if we type pi, then it will give only 5-digit information. So it is given as format short. So it is the default display. And if you want to change the size or display of that particular variable, then just you have to use these type of formats. So suppose if you are using format long, format space long, then after that when you type pi, then it will display all the 16 digits, up to 16 digit it will display on the command window. If you want to get the information in terms of magnitude plus exponent, then you have to use format short e. This will display 5 digits plus exponent value. Format long e will display 16 digits plus exponent value. After that, format hex command will display hexadecimal value. Format blank will display 2 decimal digits only. Format plus will identify whether the particular variable has a positive number, negative number, or zero number. So if you have stored positive number, then it will display positive sign. If you have stored negative number, then it will display negative sign. And if you have stored zero number, then it will display zero sign, zero number. So format rational. Suppose you get the information in terms of rational number. You want to get the information in rational number, then you have to use this particular format. Format space rad. So it will display in terms of rational number. Otherwise, you will by default get the information in fractions. Now, these are the general symbols which we can see in the MATLAB. As we have already discussed, this double arrow sign will display prompt. 3 dot will give the information to compiler that the current statement in continuation to the next statement. So continue statement on the next line. Comma separates statements and data. If you want to add different information in a single line, then you can separate with the help of this comma. If you want to place a comment in front of any command, then you just need to add this percentage sign. Now there are two works of this particular semicolon. First one is it suppresses the output, and in terms of matrix, it separates row in a matrix. Okay, so it will be discussed in our upcoming slides when we discuss matrix manipulations. Now there is this column symbol. It specifies range of different integers. Okay, so suppose I will discuss it later what this particular column means. Now MATLAB variable names. So this thing is very important. MATLAB variable names are case sensitive. Variable names can contain up to 63 characters as of MATLAB 9.5 and newer. So up to 63 characters you can give. Variable names must start with a letter followed by letters, digits, and underscores. Okay, so these are the examples which can be used for assigning any value to the variable, and this is not allowed. Okay, now MATLAB selection structures. So if you have conditional statement, if your program has conditional statements, then you have to use this if-else command. So this command has these three instructions: if, else if, and else structure in MATLAB. Note that else if is one word. So else if is one word. It is not separated from each other. Else space if is not applicable in MATLAB. So this instruction can be written as if space your conditional expression. Okay, if it is true, then this command will get executed. So execute these commands. Else if expression 2, if this is not true, then this second command will be checked, and if it is true, then this command must get executed. If these two commands are not true, then obviously this must be true, then this will get executed. Now, after conditional statements, we generally use looping. But in MATLAB, we generally use metrics to solve any problem to avoid this looping feature. It will be discussed in later slides that how we can avoid this loop, because if you are using this loop, then it will increase the complexity, or it will increase the time of total computation. So to avoid that, we generally use matrices to compute any value or any expression. So to provide this looping, we can use for loop or while loop. For loop can be given as for space x equals to 1 colon 0.5 colon 10. So if this variable is following this instruction, then these commands will get executed. Here x is an array. Now the x variable is not storing anything, means this is intermediate variable and it will not be stored in this command window, sorry, command workspace. But if you want to see step by step, then these values will be saved in the workspace. Okay, so this particular statement means for x equals to 1 is to 0.5 is to 10, means this loop will run from 1 to 10 with the step size of 0.5. So first, at the first time, the x value will be 1. When this loop completed, when these instructions are executed, after that the second loop will perform, and in that particular loop the value of x will be incremented by 0.5. So x equals to 1 plus 0.5, 1.5 will be assigned to x in second loop. So similar to that, it will go up to 10. Okay, after that, when x reaches 10, then this condition will not be true and it will exit from the particular for loop. Similar to that, while loop will be performed, and while expression can be given as while space x less than or equals to the value. So when this particular statement is true, these set of commands will get executed, and if this statement is not true, then the loop will not get executed. Then there are some mathematical functions. So obviously mathematics has several mathematical functions, and it can be found with the help of these functions. If you want to get more information about these elementary functions, then you can just type help space lfun in the command window, and you will get the information of all the elementary functions available in the MATLAB. So these functions are like sin x, cos x, tan x, e to the power x, and ln x. Like these, all the elementary functions which we generally use in our elementary mathematics can be found in the particular elementary functions section. Now there are some special functions are also available in MATLAB. So to find more information about this special functions, just type help space spec fun in the command window and it will display the result. So these functions are like binomial expressions. We generally use n choose k. So n choose k will give the information of that particular. Factorial we generally use in our mathematics. So factorial comes under the category of special functions. Absolute of any value can be found with the help of this ABS command, and like that we can find all the information in the particular spec fun section. So suppose we want to calculate this z variable, and z variable stores the value of e to the power minus a sine of x plus 10 square root of y, and we already know the value of a, x and y. Then how do we do it? So first of all, we have to specify these variables. Okay, so you have to initialize these variables. So a equals to 5, x equals to 2, and y equals to 8. We have used semicolon to suppress the output. Okay, so we have to if you are using this semicolon, then you will not get to see the output of these variables at the command window. After that, you have to express these this particular expression in command window. So how do we do it? We have to write z equals to exp. Exp function is representing exponential function, so it will result e to the power minus a. So exp of minus a multiplied by sine of x plus 10 multiplied by square root of y. If you skip these signs, then you will get error sign. Okay, error in the command window. So you have to add these uh, multiplication operator in between these functions. So you have to be careful. After that, when we enter it, then we will get this particular output. As you can see, uh, we have not used semicolon here. That is why we are getting output at the command window. Now there is different example, log of 142 and log 10 base 142. There is a difference, small difference in that. This is representing natural log, means here the base is by default e, and if you want to get the information in terms of base 10, then you have to add 10 in between these two. Okay, so log 10 142 will give you the log 142 base 10 value. Then matrix generation. Now the name MATLAB is taken from matrix laboratory. It is good at dealing with matrices. So generally the MATLAB is used because if we know the properties of matrices, then we will be able to find the output, or we will be able to find any manipulation easily with the help of matrix manipulations. So using this matrix manipulation, we will be able to avoid the looping which are present in every programming almost. So actually all variables in MATLAB are matrices. Scalars are 1 by 1 matrices. Vectors are n by 1 or 1 by n matrices. It depends on whether the vector is column vector or row vector. If you want to get the information of a particular variable, so you can just type size. It will give you the size of that particular variable. Okay, so how do we add these matrices or enter these matrices? To enter matrices, you have to use square brackets. So start with a square bracket, then type the values which are present in along a single row, and it can be separated by comma or spaces. If you want to switch the row, then you can use semicolon. So the semicolon will separate the rows, and if you want to end the matrix, you have to close the square bracket. So this is the example. How do we generally type any matrix? So suppose we want to type any 3 cross 3 matrix. 3 cross 3 means 3 number of rows and 3 number of columns are present in the matrix. So you have to write like this: A equals to 1 space 2 space 3 semicolon 4 space 5 space 6 semicolon 7 space 8 space 9. That means 1, 2, 3 are present in first row, 4, 5, 6 are present in second row, and 7, 8, 9 are present in third row. Here we have to consider that we must follow all the matrix properties. Like if we are uh, writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, then it will mismatch the matrix size. So it is not allowed in the MATLAB. So it will directly print the error. What type of error you are getting? Now matrix indexing. View a particular element in a matrix. So to view a particular element, we can use this command. Suppose we have already defined this A matrix and we want to get the information of a particular element, then we just want to type, we have to type A1 comma 3. So if A1 comma 3 you type, then you will get the value of matrix A at the place of first row, third column. Okay, so at the place of first row, third column, the value is 3, and you will get the output as 3. So here you have not assigned it to any variable. That is why by default it is assigned to answer variable, as we have discussed in earlier slide. So next is colon operator in a matrix. Colon operator is very useful in the usage of MATLAB. For example, A m is to n, comma k is to l specifies portion of a matrix A, rows m to n and column k to l. So suppose you want to extract a particular section of a matrix, then you can specify, you can give this instruction. Just you need to give the value of these variables m and kl, and it will give you the output in the command window. So suppose we have 3 cross 3 matrix A, and we want to print the output as 2 is to 3 and 2 is to 3 row, 2 is to 3 column. Then it will give you the output of all the values which are present at 2 to 3 2 to 3 number of rows and 2 to 3 number of columns. Now this command will display all the values which are present in second row and for all column. This column size is representing all columns. So this will display all the values which are present at the second row. Now if you want to get the information from second to last row, if you don't know the size of that particular matrix, then you can use this end value. This end represents the maximum size of that matrix. So this will display 2 to final value or final value of that matrix in row side and for all the columns. Now, if you want to apply transpose operation, then you can use A dash single quote will give you the transpose of a matrix. Now, if you want to make a big matrix with the help of a small matrix, then you can use concatenating process. Matrices that can be made up of sub matrices. So suppose we have 3 cross 3 sub matrices of four different 3 cross 3 sub matrices, and we want to make a big matrix. Then what we can do, we can use this instruction b equals to the square bracket we have opened. After that a will have 3 cross 3 matrix. The 10 cross a means all the elements will get multiplied with the 10, and the size will remain same of 3 cross 3. Then we are changing the row. So 3 cross 3 and 3 cross 3 will form you 6 cross 6 number of elements in the B. When you change the row, then you will get uh, this particular instruction. In this instruction, minus A is representing A matrix with multiplied with minus sign. So all the elements which are present in inside the A matrix will get negative sign, and after that we have placed space, and then we have substituted a particular unitary matrix which is having of size 3 cross 3. So if you calculate it, by entering it in the command window, then you will get the size of 6 cross 6 matrix, and the elements are these values. Now generating vectors with the help of colon operator. Suppose we want to enter a vector x consisting of points 0, 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 up to 5. So we can use this command as we have already discussed in the looping section. So all the elements in between 0 to 5 increase by 1/10, 0.1. Format is begin, stride, end. Now, I think uh, this is the time. So, sir,
Yes, Dr. Vishal, I think you may continue with the other slides on a next day because it's already 4:55. There might be
yes, sir.
questions and you have a poll also. So let us take the
Okay, sir.
polls and then take the questions. And you can continue with the other slides some other day, next week maybe. Okay,
Okay, sir.
because I believe you have got, you have reached halfway mark almost. It is halfway mark,
Yes, sir.
yes. So let us go ahead with the polls now. I will shoot the polls and I will again request all members to kindly vote at your earliest. And I will wait for 1 minute. So here I shoot the poll. I request all members to vote at the earliest. We will wait up to 1 minute. Okay, so we have reached 40% votes. It's around 19 seconds. We'll wait for up to 1 minute. Voting is a bit faster today. That's a good sign, but maybe again it will end exactly at the same point. Okay, so we are in the 48th second. We'll wait up to 1 minute, but definitely we have crossed the 55% margin today. We are almost in 60%, so that's a good sign. Okay, so we have reached 60% votes and it is 1 minute. I close the voting today. So I share the results. So 73% goes with yes, it should be open source. Okay, so yes,
It
MATLAB
was
is
obvious, sir.
something, yes, it's obvious. MATLAB is actually used by almost all in the mathematics domain or maybe in the engineering domain. Almost everybody, science domain, everybody uses MATLAB. But then again, it is a product developed by a company who has got their own employees, and if it is totally open source and absolutely available for free also, then I don't know how the company can sustain. So that's the question. 7% goes with the no thing. I would like to hear from them, like no, why they say no. At least partially is a good option to choose. I think 20% people have chosen. However, I have given my views. Dr. Vishal, your views, please.
I think, sir, those persons who have chosen the no because they know that if the software is free to all, then the quality will get degraded.
Yes,
So that is
yes,
why I think they have shown the particular no option.
yes, you're right. You're correct. Like there are so many open source similar software in Linux or Unix, but I'm sure that none of those software has been able to replace MATLAB or maybe given even 10% of the quality of MATLAB.
Yes, sir.
Like, I don't know, Dr. Vishal, have you used software like JMathLib or
No, sir.
similar software in Linux platform? Did you use?
No, sir. No, sir.
I hardly think anybody has used like you. So they do not match the quality of that of MATLAB. Those are all open source in Linux. Okay, so it was a good poll to choose. Thank you. I hide the poll and I will go for the questions. Let me quickly see whether there are questions. Okay, Mr. Professor Abhishek Haldar or Mr. I don't know whether he's a student or teacher. Sorry for that. At least few basic packages should be free, not in total. That's a comment from Abhishek Haldar. That's a good comment, I believe. Few basic packages can be free. Yes, yes, it can be, definitely. Animesh Kairi says that Skylab can be used also in Linux platform, but there is a question of quality. Yes, that's what I'm seeing. Scilab. I was saying the same thing. Like in our days, there was software called JMathLeap, but it did not match even 10% of the quality. Okay. So any comment on that, Dr. Vishal, from the comments from Abhishek Haldar
No,
and
sir.
Animish Kairi?
No, sir.
Okay.
You're absolutely correct.
Yes. Okay. So I read out a question from Professor Arun Kumar Chatterjee. He writes, can MATLAB calculate Bessel functions of first and second kind, or the
Yes, sir.
hypergeometric series like f
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
abc is to x?
All the
Yes.
functions are present. All the functions are present. If you check the help spec fun, which I already discussed in the slide, then you will find the particular format of that Bessel or hypergeometric functions. But it also depends on your system, because if your system is like slow, then you will not be able to find the higher values. So your system must be very strong to find those values. Otherwise, you can use recursive functions to find the hypergeometric values or Bessel function values.
Right, right, right. Okay, so I don't find any more questions, but there is something from Madhusudan Vaidya. He writes, very essential PPT you have chosen. Kindly share the PPT in IEM discussion board. I will be grateful to you. Okay, so Dr. Vishal, if you kindly share with me, I will share,
Yes, sir.
because
I will do
previously
that.
also such comments were there, but I did not get any of your PPTs, so I could
I
not
will do
share
that,
in
sir.
the board. You may kindly do so. Let me find whether there are any other questions quickly. Quickly. Okay. Okay. So there is one last question from Professor Shobhik Shah. What is the limitation of MATLAB? Yes, that is also very important. What is the limitation of MATLAB?
Limitations are as such, it totally depends on your system. That if your system is efficient and if you are using higher version of RAM or hard disk, then you are able to uh, means calculate all the values efficiently. Otherwise, you will take it will take very long time to calculate the long calculations. And the most important thing is MATLAB is basically based on matrices. So if you are using matrix properties, then it will be very efficient to use. Otherwise, if you are using for loops or any kind of loop which we generally use in different programming languages like C, C++, or Java, then it will be very difficult for calculation in terms of MATLAB, because MATLAB is basically used for scientific purpose, like engineering problems. So in engineering problems, you have to calculate very long range of values, like different type of image processing applications or classification techniques, which we generally use for long data. It means the looping, if you are providing looping process, then it will take days to compute the particular classification result. So in terms of that, your system must be strong, and you have to follow all the matrix properties. Wherever you are applying those matrix properties, then you will get the efficient results.
Okay, so Professor Shobhik Shah has added saying that he was looking for the software limitation, if any, not the system limitation. Like this contains almost any mathematical function you mention. It will definitely be there in MATLAB in some package or the other, though you need to
Yes, sir.
purchase the packages differently. So do you have anything to add on that? Like he's saying that I'm not
Sir,
asking the system
all
limitation,
the
I'm just looking for the software limitation, if any.
all the functions are available in the MATLAB itself, but they generally releases the new version, because in new version they add some extra packages or extra toolboxes. So we have to look into that, what different toolboxes are added. They have added in this particular new version. So you will find in new version the size will be very different, or it might be increased to GB 1 GB in as compared to the previous versions. So as if you see the disadvantages, so there are no disadvantages in terms of software. But obviously, if you want to get the information of any particular function, then you can find on the MathWorks website. So all the functions or packages, all the functions are easily available on the MathWorks website. Or in other words, we can also say that there are different users who already associated with the MathWorks websites, and they easily provide all all the required functions or all the algorithms which are not present in the particular MATLAB software. So if you simply search normal Google search, and on the website you search the particular function, then you will get the particular associated .n files.
Okay, so that was a good answer, but yes, MATLAB has MathWorks is gradually removing all software limitation with the price. More and more packages you purchase, more and more
Yes, sir.
limitations are removed. So that is the thing,
Yes,
but it is very, very costly. If cost is a limitation, then definitely it is very, very costly. That is also a limitation. Okay, Obhijit Kaur has requested you to arrange a workshop in future. That can definitely be done, Professor Kaur. Thank you. I think that's the end of questions for today. Thanks to all
thank
IEM
you
and
all
UEM
family
family
members.
members, and thank you, Dr. Vishal. I think you
Thank you,
can
sir.
continue with your presentation
Yes,
someday
sir.
next week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.